Hi guys. As you see, the 2022 NFL season is about to start in 3 hours, and I am about to make my picks for the week 1 of the season. So open up the season, Thursday Night Football, we have Bills Rams. Now, the Bills face the Rams coming into opening night as a favorites to win the Super Bowl. After suffering a heartbreaking loss to the Chiefs last year in overtime in the divisional round, Buffalo looking to get back on the right foot on the road at the defending Super Bowl champions LA Rams. I think the Bills win this game. Due to Von Miller now going to Buffalo, helping out there, making the defense stronger. I think Josh Allen's gonna have another great year, MVP candidate right there. I think with Matthew Stafford's arm soreness for the Rams, I think that it's going to be tough for him to throw against this defense, especially with the pass rush of Von Miller. And I think him losing Odell Beckham's going to hurt. Also, the Rams don't really have a number one running back out of the backfield, so that could hurt with the run game because Stafford can't throw the ball 70 times in a game. So I think the Bills come out on top of this one, 27-24. Next off, we have the Saints and the Falcons. Falcons, they had a rough year. And it's going to be another rough year because they went from a great Matt Ryan Hall of Fame career to Marcus Mariota at starting quarterback, who's not really known for starting a full year. And their defense is okay, but their offensive side of the ball scares me. With not having Calvin Ridley for the whole year due to gambling issues, and their top weapon is Kyle Pitts at tight end, which doesn't really say much for their offense. So I think, and the Saints are coming back, trying to get back into the playoffs. Jameis Winston's back. It's all good sign they're starting quarterback's back. And now Michael Thompson's coming back. They picked up Jarvis Landry from Cleveland. And their defense can keep them in game. So I think the Saints win this one, 27-10. The next noon game is Browns and Panthers. Baker Mayfield going up against his own team, his old team. I think because he won the starting job over Sam Darnold, and I think he's going to struggle in his first game with Cleveland, against Cleveland with Carolina, because he doesn't really have any weapons to throw the ball to. His best player on offense is Christian McCaffrey, and that doesn't say much, knowing that McCaffrey has had injury issues throughout his career. And just really no one to throw the ball to. And Cleveland's defense knows how to play against Baker Mayfield, as they've practiced against him every week when he played for Cleveland. So I think the Panthers lose this one, and with Cleveland side of things, signing Deshaun Watson with a big contract, I don't think that was best of ideas. And now you have Jacoby Brissett starting at quarterback, for the first 12 games of Watson's suspensions, and losing Jarvis Landry, but also gaining Amari Cooper in place of Landry, losing Odell at the end of the season last year. It's going to be rough, but I think Cleveland defense does win this one for the Browns, 21-17. 49ers at Bears. This one is a really interesting game because last year Bears played with the 49ers till the very end. Bears just couldn't make any tackles. And now this year, San Francisco's got Trey Lance starting at quarterback, which is going to be really interesting because you have two second-year quarterbacks going against each other. 49ers are coming in after a heartbreaking loss to the Rams in the NFC Championship game. Bears are looking to get Justin Fields in their second-year quarterback. Keep him protected and get him more experience in the NFL. Under the new management of Matt Eberflus as head coach and Ryan Poles at GM. I think the Bears squeaked this one out at home against the 49ers due to injuries of Jimmy Ward, who's not playing, big miss there on defense, and maybe no George Kittle for tight end for the 49ers. I think the Bears win this one 21-17. Next up is Steelers-Bengals, which is going to be another really interesting game to start the year because you have Steelers just went to get Mitchell Trubisky in the offseason, and then they lost Juju Smith-Schuster. Kansas City, who's now on Kansas City. Najee Harris, a great back out of the backfield. Still got Chase Claypool, which I don't see him as a number one receiver. I think their defense is going to lead the way all season for them to maybe sneak in the playoffs, but I think this one, it's at the Bengals. Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. The matchup of this game is going to be the Bengals offense versus the Steelers defense. But I do think the Steelers come out on top in this one. Under Mitchell Trubisky's first start. I think that Najee Harris is going to have a big game. And I think the Steelers won this one 24-21. Eagles at Lions. The Lions, yes, they're from Detroit. They don't really have any high expectations. Now their second-year coach, Dan Campbell, second-year, their QB, their quarterback for the second year now is Jared Goff. I think that the Lions at home, I think they fall to the Eagles, who have gotten Jalen Hurts, who can lead your team downfield with a really good rookie receiver last year, and Devonta Smith, who's going to get better, and good tight end, reliable tight end, and Dallas Goedert. Also, picking up A.J. Brown from the Titans. That's going to be huge for Hurts, give Hurts another weapon. And I think the Eagles' defense is going to make major improvements this year. I think the Eagles win this one 28-13. Next up, we have Colts at Titans. The Colts come to this game after missing the playoffs last year in the final week of the regular season with the loss to the Jaguars. That's saying something about finishing strong. Meanwhile, the Texans come into the season with one of the worst records in the AFC, being at 4-13. I think the Colts will win this one easily. I think Jonathan Taylor, best running back in football, is going to run all over them. Well, now you have a veteran quarterback there, Matt Ryan, who the Colts just got from the Falcons. Their defense is high-powered. Matt Ryan's going to find Michael Pittman for a touchdown or two this week. And you have Davis Mills for the Texans at quarterback. And I don't think he's not the answer for the quarterback situation over in Houston. I think the Colts will win this one 27-7. Next, you have a division battle in the AFC East. Patriots versus Dolphins. The Patriots come into this season after a blowout loss to Buffalo. And the Dolphins missed playoffs the last couple years by one game. And I think that with the moves the Dolphins made in this offseason, because their defense is already pretty good. And Tua Tagovailoa, you can't sleep on him. Jalen Waddle had a great rookie year, and now adding Tyreek Hill to the mix, that's going to be a tough offense to stop and a tough defense to score on. I think they win this one at home, start season against the Patriots, 20-14. Next, Ravens and Jets. Both teams come off of missing the playoffs last year. The Ravens are going to look to respond under Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson kind of had an off year last year. But I think the Ravens defense is really good. Zach Wilson, I want to say one of the leaders in that throwing interceptions last year. I still think he's gonna throw at least 2 picks this game, and the Lamar Jackson show, Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews connection, is gonna click. I think the Ravens come out on top of this one, 27-10. Now you have the Jaguars versus the Commanders. Both teams coming off losing seasons last year. The Jaguars being led by Trevor Lawrence and young offense personnel. The Commanders are being led by newly acquired Carson Wentz from the Indianapolis Colts. And rookie of the year, Chase Young. But I have the Jaguars upsetting the Commanders on the road 14-10. I just think the Commanders spent too much time. Washington spent too much time this offseason, finding a name, then getting better personnel. It's just my take on that. But yeah, I have the Commanders losing their home opener 14-10 to Jacksonville. Giants versus Titans. This could be another interesting battle because Giants, I mean, come on. Last year, your offense was bad. Like, let's just face it. You had to rely on Mike Glennon to lead your team out on the field. Also, when you're at your own 4-yard line on 3rd and 9, you don't trust your offense. You QB sneak it. That's embarrassing. But I think that's times for the Giants' offense are going to change under the newly acquired head coach from Brian Daboll from the Buffalo Bills organization. But Daniel Jones is now healthy. He's going to have some pretty good young receivers. Kenny Golladay. And I think on the road in Tennessee's, yes, they made the playoffs last year. But yes, Tennessee has Derrick Henry, arguably one of the best backs in football. But I think teams have found a way to slow down Derrick Henry to where they give themselves a chance. But I don't like the Giants' defense. So I'm going to say Derrick Henry's going to be just enough to beat the Giants. Because Tannehill is still the quarterback over there in Tennessee. He's got no receivers. I don't trust Tannehill to give you a win. So if Derrick Henry is on point, Tennessee will win this one. I'm saying Tennessee wins 20-10. Chiefs at Cardinals, another really interesting game. Both teams have had a really interesting offseason. The Chiefs are coming into this one after a loss at home in the AFC championship game to the Cincinnati Bengals in overtime. Well, the Cardinals are coming off a blowout loss to the Rams in the Walker weekend, and then probably one of the most dramatic off seasons I've seen in a while with with Kyler Murray and all the drama about wanting a new contract, wanting to be paid. Come on, let's face it, dude. I don't think you're good. You're a starting NFL quarterback, but I don't think you deserve more than you were being paid. Also, Kyler Murray not showing up to practice. Kyler Murray playing video games. The Cardinals coaching staff and front office letting Kyler Murray do whatever he wants. And then your best receiver, DeAndre Hopkins, failing a drug test and being suspended for the first 6 games, which will hurt. And no more AJ Green. AJ Green retired. So who will be the number 1 receiver this week against the Chiefs? That's your tight end, Zach Ertz. And if Zach Ertz is your number 1 receiver this week, you're gonna lose quite a bit because Ertz is. I don't think are in his prime anymore. He's getting old. He's one of those tight ends that are getting older. Um, but on the Chiefs side of thing, I think they want to get back into the playoffs. Want to make another run at the Super Bowl under Patrick Mahomes, who had a rocky year last year. But I think him and Kelsey hook up a lot this year and get back to their winning ways. I think losing Tyreek Hill was a big loss, but I think Juju Smith-Schuster will be a good enough replacement for Tyreek Hill. But I think the Chiefs outlast Cardinals in this one, 23-17. Raiders at Chargers, man. This big divisional game in the AFC West. If you remember last team, both teams played each other in week 18 of the NFL finale. Sunday Night Football, it was a winner in, and went to overtime. Vegas, the Chargers end up losing to a field goal by the Raiders in overtime, which knocked them out and put the Steelers in and moved Vegas in. Vegas would eventually lose to Cincinnati in the first round. Derek Carr, an all-pro quarterback, finally has one of the best receiver in football in Davante Adams, who they just acquired from the Packers. Those two guys played in college. I think those two guys will have the connection early. But in other ways, Waller's going to have a good year. But their defense is solid. But I think the Chargers, with the moves they made, Justin Herbert, great young quarterback. He's gonna win a lot of games. And with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams there, two reliable receivers on the outside for him. And the thing is about the Chargers is their defense. Great secondary, great linebackers, but their pass rush. Already having Joey Bosa, you add a healthy Khalil Mack to that, trading him, getting him from the Bears. They are going to be hard to stop and move the ball against. So if I'm the Raiders, I'm hoping my run game succeeds this week. But if not, I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Chargers win this one, 28-24. Packers versus Vikings. That's a battle in the NFC North. Both these teams are coming off terrific passing season last year, with the Vikings having Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, the Packers having the best quarterback in football right now, and Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he won MVP 2 years in a row. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to decrease in the stats this year, only because he's lost Davante Adams. Randall Cobb's old. His number one receiver is Allen Lazard, and everything in training camp has been showing that his receivers have been dropping a lot of passes. But I think their defense will be a top 3 defense this year by far. But I think the Packers do win this one in Minnesota. 34-24. Buccaneers versus Cowboys, the first Sunday Night Football game of the year. Both these teams coming in after a couple of close games in the playoffs that did not go their way. It was Dallas losing to the final seconds to the San Francisco 49ers. And then it was the Buccaneers being down a lot by 24 early, coming back, tying in the fourth quarter. But then Stafford led his team down the field to set up a Matt Gay game-winning field goal for the Rams to knock the Bucs out of the playoffs. And with all the drama over this offseason for the Buccaneers, I think with Tom Brady announcing retirement, which was a short-lived retirement, announcing he's coming back, not showing up until a week in the preseason. Robert Gronkowski retirement, acquiring Julio Jones from the Titans. Mike Evans being back, Chris Godwin being back from an injury, Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones, a great 1-2 punch right there at running back. And then their defense is good. Their defense is solid. I think it's going to be an interesting game in Dallas because Dallas, Dak Prescott, one of the passing leaders last year in yards, still has CeeDee Lamb, lost Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper's now in Cleveland. So you have your receivers over there are Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, and Dalton Schultz. And you have your running back Ezekiel Elliott, who shows signs of life. I think their offense will decrease in the amount of points they're scoring this year, but their defense will keep them in games as their defense was the number one defense last year. I still think they're going up against Tom Brady. Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win this one, 31-29. Now, yes, the final game of Week 1, Monday Night Football. Russell Wilson returns to Seattle. And leading the Broncos and their young core out there, Jerry Jeudy, Noah Fant, Tim Patrick, Courtland Sutton, Melvin Gordon at running back, and a young offense line. And their defense is still solid even without Von Miller. I think that the Broncos come in and take one on the road in Seattle due to the fact that Russell Wilson knows where he's been playing at. He's used to that field, and the Seahawks defense is dwindled. No more Bobby Wagner. They're all pro. One of their Shaquille Griffin announced retirement. And then you're on the offensive side. You have Geno Smith at your quarterback, and I guess two of the best receivers in football in DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. But that doesn't matter if Geno Smith can't throw the ball to them. I think Bradley Chubb will get to Geno Smith at least twice this game. I think Denver wins this one 23-14. So, and I think it's going to be a fun week of NFL season. A fun week of the NFL. A lot of interesting games. But this is the first video of many to come. So, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you on Wednesday night.